Good morning. We're going to call the meeting for June 3rd to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a prayer. Heavenly Father, we beseech your divine guidance on this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting on the 27th and the regular commissioners meeting on the 27th.
Second the motion.
Motion second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. Next up, is there any public comment regarding pending resolutions? Seeing none, we will move on to resolutions. First up, County Engineer's Office, Dan Becker.
Morning.
Morning, Dan.
Morning.
I have 3 resolutions for your consideration today. The first is a necessity to close Congress Road for some guardrail replacement. The next is a close a portion of Crow Road for a bridge replacement. And the last is a necessity to close the intersection of Grafton and Marks Road for a water line replacement.
I will make a motion to approve the 3 resolutions.
Second the motion.
Motion second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Next up, Jeremy Cinco, Sanitary Engineer.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
I have 5 resolutions for consideration today. The first is authorizing legal services agreement with Albers and Albers to assist the sanitary engineer with a proposed agreement amendment to the Eastern Transmission Line 2 agreement. The second is authorizing the sanitary engineer to remove 2 failed rotating biological contactor units at the Hinckley Wastewater Treatment Plant through Equalis Group competitive bidding. The third is authorizing the sanitary engineer to enter into an agreement with Jones and Henry Engineers for professional design services to assist in construction management for the Marks Road water main replacement project. The fourth is a resolution authorizing the sanitary engineer to apply for, accept, and enter into a water supply revolving loan account agreement on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners of Medina County, Ohio, for design of the Westfield Water Treatment Plant facilities and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan. And the final resolution is amending a professional design service agreement with Jones and Henry Engineers for the Medina Road Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project.
I'll make a motion to approve the 5 resolutions.
Second the motion.
Motion second. Any discussion? How do you pronounce that? The acronym was WS. Is it WSRLA?
Wassurla.
Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Didn't seem like a great acronym to me, but roll call, please.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy. Next up, Steve Sikora from JFS. Steven Sikora.
Oh, Steve's fine.
Okay.
Steven, I feel like I'm getting yelled at by my parents. We'll go with Steve. Just one resolution this morning. It's a resolution authorizing an agreement for a comprehensive case management program between Medina County Department of Job and Family Services and Tri-County Jobs for Ohio graduates. That was through an RFP, and our friends at Tri-County JOG won the bid again. So it's great to work with them again.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Next up, Holly Murin. HR. Morning,
Good
Holly.
morning.
Good morning.
On our personnel changes resolution today, we have 1 new hire at Job and Family Services, 5 rate increases, 2 in sanitary, 1 at Job and Family Services, 1 in finance, and 1 at Solid Waste District, and 2 resignations, 1 in sanitary and 1 in transit.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Motion second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, please.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Next up, Brett Thomas from Finance.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have 9 resolutions for you today. Our first one is expenditure adjustments for various funds. These are actually moving some costs out from the general fund over to drug task forces available outside funding. Our second resolution is amending the 2024-25 Family First Council Early Intervention Program. The state has given us an additional $16,748.37 for that. Our third resolution is accepting the 25-26 amount, which is for the value of $489,989 at the present time. Our fourth resolution is an agreement for website design services between Family First Council and the Health Department. The Health Department is going to go ahead and provide them design services to not exceed $2,500 for the calendar year. Our fifth resolution is acceptance of the OCJS Violent Crime Reduction Project grant for the Sheriff's Office. This is a grant for the 2025 year in the amount of $57,000. Our sixth resolution is transfer of inventory between various offices. This is just a transfer of a laptop that we have recommissioned from IT and are passing over to the prosecutor's office. Our seventh resolution is excess property. We have some for disposal as well as some items going up on auction. Our eighth resolution is expenses of county officials. Both of these are for McSass. Nothing out of state. And our ninth and final resolution is our weekly bills in the amount of $818,751.86.
I'll make a motion to approve the 9 resolutions.
Second the motion.
Motion second, any discussion? Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Brett. Matt Springer, County Administrator.
Good morning. I have 4 resolutions. The first resolution is authorizing Corsa to issue an RFQ for insurance representation. This will be for our next program year, which begins on May 1st of 2026. The second resolution is approving a legal service agreement with Bricker and Graydon. This is for future TIF-related incentive projects at a cost not to exceed $25,000 annually. And these would be expenses reimbursable if a project is approved. The third resolution is similar. This is a legal service agreement with Baker and Tilly to look at pro formas related to TIF incentive projects. And the fourth and final is a resolution to proceed with the submission of a renewal MCDAC levy. This would be a 5-year levy placed on this coming November's ballot. As you know, this provides funding for drug task force as well as school resource officers within the school districts of Medina.
I'll make a motion to approve the 4 resolutions.
Second the motion.
Motion second, discussion?
That's our second of 3 steps for the levy? Do we have another?
This will be the final step.
This is
Final
for
step.
us,
That's
yeah,
correct.
okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's it.
Steve? Roll call, please.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Next up, department updates. We're going to start with Laura Toth today from Senior and Adult Services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have several things. Wow, it's going to be a long one. I got something. No, I'm kidding. We had an extremely successful senior day on May 21st at the community center at the fairgrounds. We had over 600 people in attendance who enjoyed a variety of 80 vendors. We had Dixieland music. Mardi Gras was our theme. And everybody enjoyed a sub sandwich box lunch courtesy of the foundation. We had leftovers, which we donated to the county home. So it was a great day. Thank you all for coming to that. And we'll look forward to next year.
It's really an impressive undertaking. That's a lot of people to feed in one room.
Yeah.
And
I know.
see you all, as we do the proclamation, you've got kind of the army of volunteers
Correct.
ready to kind of descend. It's an impressive undertaking. So well done with that.
Thank you. And yeah, we have great staff and volunteers, so thanks. Upcoming in June for our next big activities, we have picnics on the patio, so we'll have 2 each month. Those are in our courtyard at the agency, 246 Northland, and they're open to the public, and they're scheduled for June 13th and June 27th. I wanted to give a bit of a transit update. So we paid last year the transit total that we paid Medina County Transit for subsidized transit was $196,906. That accompanied with the increase in the per mileage rate from $325 to $350 per mile that we pay now has put us in a position to try and stabilize, or if we can, reduce our costs. We implemented a change in subsidized transportation on May 1st. I worked with Matt and Shannon on that. We'll continue to cover all medical trips. That'd never be a question. All adult daycare trips, any trips to the nearest senior center. So driving people in Wadsworth to Suprema, or people in Medina and the surrounding area to Medina, or up in Brunswick. We will have limited now subsidized trips to the grocery store or bank or pharmacy. That'll be just one trip per week allowed, so people can either combine those, and a lot of people will go to like Giant Eagle and they're getting their pharmacy done, and the bank's right out front, so they might walk to that bank and things like that. So we're just trying to limit that to one trip per week. And also we've limited trips to recreation centers just once per week. We'll continue to monitor the costs, and I'll bring a cost report after we have that in fact for a couple months to see if there's any change. Further reduction of service may be necessary. We just have to keep an eye on the cost. We budgeted $240,000 for transportation services. Those are all levy dollars, and we get $1.039 million. So that's almost a quarter of our budget is going to transit costs. So we really want to keep an eye on it and make sure that we're staying in that 240 to 250 range. I can't see us going much above that. We have had a little bit of an increase in transit riders as well, which you'll see on the future reports provided.
Are, for folks in like co-living situations, can I use one of my trips to the rec center on Tuesday and have my friend use it on
Yeah.
Thursday and we ride together? Or is it,
Well, you
it's
can,
per rider is the charge, right?
it's per rider
Yeah.
unless you have a caregiver, then that caregiver would be, so if somebody
Got it, yeah.
needs assistance, I guess you could, are you trying to tell people how to manipulate the
No,
system
not
here?
Not at all. I was,
You want to do that?
I know, I was curious about, because each rider would have a charge to that, so.
Correct.
So the first trip for each rider would be subsidized on a weekly basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there
Now,
aren't
of course,
any
transit
loopholes.
is always available if they're willing to pay the full price.
Absolutely.
Right,
Yep.
right.
So,
And
rather
and
than
for
subsidies.
flex
Right.
trips for people age 65 and over are 75 cents.
75
So for
cents.
so many
So-
of these people, it's a $1.50 round trip to go to the rec center on a day that's not
Right.
subsidized.
Right.
So we did absolutely take that into consideration as well. I have a little bit of a farmer's market update, just because we're in the middle of that season. In Medina County, we have had 245 people sign up for farmer's market vouchers. We have $475 that has been redeemed. So people have signed up, but they're not yet redeeming those vouchers. Unredeemed are $11,775. So the total issue funds from the state is $12,250. We do have a total funding amount of $19,000, but we were notified in all the trainings we've been to, if we reach that $19,000, we are to reach out to them, and they will probably have more money available to give Medina County. So far, so good. I want to see those redeemed benefits, though, up from that $475. So I'll keep an eye on that and keep
There's still
reporting on it.
time.
There is still time. It's early.
Yeah, it
I've
is.
gone to the farmer's market the
Yeah.
last 2 weekends on the square, and
And
they don't even have strawberries
the
yet.
weather's better now.
Well,
Hey,
but last time we had to have it here in the
I know.
administration building.
I went
Yeah.
to that. It was okay. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The last thing I have for you is June 15th is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. I'd like to ask my Adult Protective Services staff to come on up here. We have Michelle Hearns, who's the supervisor, and then Shelley Nagy and Stacy Webb, our Adult Protective Services worker. That's it. They do it all. So in recognition of this day, the Consortium Against Adult Abuse, which is a regional group in Northeast Ohio, hosts a conference for Adult Protective Services professionals and others. At this conference, which will be June 13th, the Medina County Scam Squad will be receiving the 2025 Georgia Ansberger Award for efforts to address elder abuse as a social problem. So Michelle nominated the Scam Squad, and they were chosen. They have done
great.
a tremendous job, a wonderful addition to Medina County, and they help not only older adults, but all people who may be scammed within the county, and we really appreciate their efforts. They're very helpful. And I believe you have a proclamation.
We do. So I would like to present resolution number 250427, proclaiming June 15, 2025 as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Whereas preventing and addressing elder abuse is a shared responsibility and requires engagement and action on the part of all sectors of society. Preventing and reducing elder abuse starts with knowledge. All Ohioans need to be aware of the factors that contribute to elder abuse, how to recognize it, and where to go for assistance if it happens. By understanding the nature and scope of elder abuse, older adults and their family members can take proactive steps to help prevent situations where it could occur. And whereas older adults in Medina County are valued members of society, and it is our collective responsibility to ensure that they live safely and with dignity. Whereas abuse of older adults is an ever-increasing and mostly hidden issue in our society that crosses all cultures and socioeconomic boundaries. Whereas older adults in Medina County deserve to be treated with respect and dignity to enable them to serve as leaders, mentors, volunteers, and important and active members of this county. And whereas preventing elder abuse of older people will help improve the quality of life for all and will allow older adults to continue to live as independently as possible and contribute to the life and vibrancy of their communities. And whereas we are all responsible for building safer communities for Medina County's older adults. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Board of Commissioners of Medina County, Ohio, do hereby proclaim June 15, 2025 as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Medina County and encourage all of our communities to recognize and celebrate older adults and their ongoing contributions to the success and vitality of our county.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Motion, second. Is there discussion? Thank you for all the work you do, and also thank you for nominating the Scam Squad for recognition too.
And
I think
congratulations to Tommy.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's very excited. He doesn't
Yeah.
like a lot of recognition like
Right.
so many of
Good.
us, but
Right.
he was pretty excited.
Which is why he wasn't
Forrest
here
was
to-
very excited.
Good, good. That's good. Great. Roll call, please.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. Can we get a picture, please?
Yes.
And here, bring the stars up here.
That's right, Michelle. Hold that proclamation, Michelle.
Oh, yeah. I should stand next to Michelle to give her the proclamation. Yep.
I'll stand
I
by.
have no. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Next up, we have Denise Testa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, as you know, we have our June meeting this month, and as a reminder, it will be at the Medina County Rec Center, community rooms, I believe B and C, to begin at 6:30 tomorrow night. For our July meeting, which is scheduled at the library, I feel like we're doing a round robin here, and whoever's going to take us, I guess, next location up. Our July meeting will be held at the Medina Library. We actually have five subdivisions, 2 final plats in Montville, 1 preliminary plan in Liverpool, 1 final plat in Hinckley, and 1 replat in Liverpool. So we're going to have a busy month. We also are continuing to move forward with the cost of services study, as Steve and I had discussed yesterday. The Lead Safe Ohio program is still accepting applications. Therefore, if there are residents who would like to apply for lead remediation, I encourage you to do that. And if you have questions, you can certainly call the Planning Services Office at 330-722-9291. But I do encourage more applications for the Lead Safe Ohio program. For our program year community development block grant, so I have good news regarding that grant. We did receive some bids for our Wadsworth sidewalk and Lodi, I'm sorry, not Wadsworth, excuse me, for the Brunswick Street Improvement Program and the Lodi sidewalk. So next week, I anticipate we'll be recommending awarding contracts for those 2 projects. In addition to that, the Wadsworth Sidewalk Improvement Program or project will also be going out to bid here shortly. So Wadsworth was on a different timeline than Lodi and Brunswick. We also, in addition to that, the Battered Women's Shelter, that is moving forward as well. So I'm working with our state liaison to ensure that we're complying with their regulations regarding purchasing an RV for the Battered Women's Shelter. So I'm very excited about that project as well. For our program year 25 community home improvement and preservation program, also known as CHIP. That application is moving forward, and I will present a resolution for your consideration to sign a partnership agreement with our cities as we're submitting a countywide application. And our second public hearing will be held on June 11th at 10 a.m. in the Medina County Economic Development Conference Room. So again, we're next location up. We're continuing to meet with clients regarding fair housing and coordinate with community legal aid. And between July and October, I will be visiting all of our townships, cities, and villages in cooperation with Barb Walton from our Solid Waste District to talk about grant opportunities, services, and opportunities to collaborate with our local jurisdictions. So I'm very excited to kind of get out into the community for the next few months. And our zoning inspectors networking community, also known as ZINC, is meeting at the end of this month on June 26th, and then we've got our meeting scheduled for the rest of the year. And I know Matt had mentioned that we might want to include our building department, so I'll be reaching out to them as one of our guest speakers for that meeting. Are there any questions?
I just want to mention Barb Walton will be obviously talking about the solid waste plan
Right.
update that we're going through this year. We'll have
Correct.
to have approved eventually, so it'd be good to, at least for her, in combination with you, to be able to go and meet with each of the townships and make
I
sure
like
that
that you're going
they're
out there.
aware.
That's great.
Well, one of the things that we're talking about also is PY26 Community Development Block Grant, and
Yeah.
that's coming up. And one of our initiatives or strategies is that we are asking communities to consider larger
Yes.
projects, so that
was
because
hard last time.
we have,
Yeah.
between 300 and 350,000 to allocate, but we're only able to allocate three projects.
I hate that rule, but
Yeah.
I know, it is a rule.
It's the
Yes,
state.
yes, and I'm a rule breaker, but that's one I can't break. Yeah, so they, so we're encouraging them to start thinking about the engineering costs and hiring an engineer. And there are other grants also that the state is offering as well that we want to talk about also. So yeah, so we're hopeful, and I did check into the idea that, Wadsworth is allocated up to two projects. We are only allocated up to 3. We can't, if Wadsworth only does 1 project, we can't do 4. So we're looking at a little bit of a shell game there, but that's a hard and fast rule as well, so. All right,
Very
thank you.
good. Great, thank you.
Thanks, Denise. Next up, we have OSU Extension, who is well represented here today. So, Aaron, it looks like you're the designee. Yeah, yeah.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
So we have a couple updates. So starting with Family and Consumer Sciences, which is my program, we just concluded our spring Real Money, Real World programming. So the entire 8th grade class from 6 Medina County schools participated. Students gained hand-on experience with budgeting, saving, and learning what their parents pay for in the daily life. We also just wrapped up our second Money 101 series of the year for participants at Oasis of Hope. So that program equips adults with practical tips on managing their finances and living within a budget. Looking ahead to summer, we're offering 3 Safe Sitter classes for any Medina County youth. All of the sessions are filling quickly, so that shows a strong community interest and need. And then this month, I'll be teaching and supporting various lessons at our 4-H camps, continuing our efforts to provide meaningful youth development experiences. Next up with Agriculture and Natural Resources with Ashley. She has kicked off training for the Ohio Certified Volunteer Naturalist, or OCVN program. 22 participants are currently learning about nature and conservation topics. Once certified, they'll serve as volunteers with local parks and conservation organizations. Master Gardener volunteer training begins in August, and applications are still open for those interested in joining. The Growing Minds program, which is led by the Master Gardener volunteers, recently concluded its spring sessions in local elementary schools. Volunteers created hands-on learning experiences for Medina weekday preschool, Northrop and Blake Elementary kindergartners, and Blake first graders. Topics included plant needs, garden planting, habitats, and composting. So this season, that program reached 465 students, and they look forward to continuing those school partnerships in the future. They're excited to host Pond School again on July 10th in collaboration with Medina County Parks at the Owen-Slaughter Nature Center. And then in partnership with the Ohio Department of Agriculture, we will soon be offering a new pesticide license testing location right at our office, increasing local access for professionals in the field. And then with 4-H, Sierra and Brittany are in full summer mode as they lead 3 Medina 4-H camps in June, providing youth with hands-on learning, leadership, and fun. And then as soon as camps wrap up, it's straight into fair season with pre-fair project judging taking place in July and the Medina County Fair closing out the month. So it's a busy and exciting time for our 4-H families. And then lastly, with community development, Kyle partnered with Tommy Condasta to present on identity theft on May 12th, where participants learned practical strategies to protect themselves in the digital world. The session was a success, and due to high interest, a second program is scheduled for June 25th, and you'll see a flyer in your packet. And then Kyle also provided an additional report with all of the things that she has going on as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Any
I
questions?
like how Tommy's picture is like someone you don't want to mess with.
Yeah. Yeah. That's 2 shout-outs he's gotten in the meeting.
Yeah.
Really?
It's popular today.
Thanks
Thank
a lot,
you.
Aaron. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the work from the whole team.
Yes, very good.
Okay, next up is public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? This is not tied to pending resolutions. Anything? Nope. Okay, Mr. Michaels, right up here. We just need your name and an address.
Mark Michaels, 422 Sharon Falls Drive, Wadsworth. I have one question for the commissioners. We just found this yesterday, the sanitary revision in 2025. My secretary found it. Talked to everybody that was in the last meeting for the developers agreement. Nobody's heard of this. Everybody's very surprised. I'd like to know how, with all the requests for work on the engineering from Mr. Witchy, for the engineering documents, how this was not relayed to anybody in any of those meetings, 4 meetings, that this code's already passed, and that provisions in there for 100% financial guarantees are already in here. So nobody that I talk to can understand. It's very surprising. We're kind of taken aback. We feel this is a crusade to stop building in Medina County. And Colleen, with respect, you're shaking your head, but the county engineer and the sanitary engineer are doing exactly that with all these regulations. They're stopping it, and everybody on our end agrees that that's happening, and it's disastrous. I mean, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. You know, 1,000 people work in just one of my houses. We employ so many people, and there's so much commerce going on, and you're going to stop all that. I've been stopped for 2 years. I have one house going. We had so much work on the books because that development didn't get recorded. That's what's going to happen to all of them. And with provisions in here that we have to, and I just saw this yesterday, I just barely glanced at it. There's a provision in here that in 2 years, when the maintenance bond's about ready to expire, that we have to go and clean the sewers out now and camera them. So what? Jeremy's going to have us digging up everybody's yards because they find one little glitch in the pipe? I mean, it's very, very restrictive. And you know, we haven't even gotten into it yet. Everybody's just starting to dig into all this. But I mean, Jeff Witchy asked for the drafts of what was going on with the subdivision regulations. And in most areas, talking to a few guys this morning, they're one and the same. There isn't a separate document. They're all in one. So our assumption was that, you know, the developers agreement, which is mentioned in here many times that we have to sign it, we were still working on that. But this is already done.
Now, the code of regulations you've got for you was actually a compilation of other prior regulations that were in various documents, various sources. In fact, Matt Springer and I met with Jeremy this morning actually to talk about the sheet that you presented to the board last week. And we're going to be getting back to you. We want to sit down with you and go through each of those. Jeremy's department is looking at those. We want to look at our record, look at your records, and we're going to sit down and talk to you about that. But regarding the code of regulations, as Jeremy mentioned today, a lot of them were, especially if you start talking about the fees or the various issues, they were in various documents. They were all adopted at various times, and they were consolidated and actually put together for that code of regulations into one document. And it may be a surprise to many individuals because they were in various documents, but they were all regulations that had been passed legally in the past and had been enforced. So this was, by creating this singular document, was able to at least bring them together and actually be able to have something that could be shared and, of course, communicated with the developer community. There is no intent to stop development. If anything, is also to make sure that help assist developers and individuals that are out there engaged in those enterprises to be able to know what the rules are, to know what the regulations are, and, of course, to be able to efficiently and effectively comply with those regulations. And if there are areas that we have disagreement or areas of problem, that we can sit down and resolve those issues in the field as well as within the offices. So we do intend on getting back to you to the document you produced and gave us last week.
Thank you for that.
And we're going to sit down and talk about that. And I know that you also have on the Phase 4, you also have I think a meeting coming up this week. Tomorrow. And you're going to be meeting with Jeremy's staff and so forth to go over some of those issues. So we are trying to address many of the concerns you brought forward.
Regarding that meeting,
Okay.
we get surprises when we go into that meeting.
Right.
So there's things told us that we didn't know prior. Maybe we should have known but didn't. So there was a 2-page in Phase 3 given to me document. So Ben Ochner asked yesterday the questions to both departments. What can we expect at this meeting? Can you send this to us ahead of time so we can see it? What is going to be the agenda? Because it was a 2-page document. Well, we got back maybe 6 or 7 pages. I'm not sure where they came from. We haven't even gotten through them yet. There were other questions asked directly as to the inspectors and their qualifications and so on and so forth. And Dave Pugh just answered one-line answers, basically evading the questions. I have them here, but
I read the email
Right.
from yesterday that was shared with me,
Right,
since I'm the liaison to the department.
So again, we don't really know what we're getting into tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow what's going on. I mean, I understand that this does not apply, or I think I understand this doesn't apply to what's going on now, because we'd already started the design work. Okay, so I don't think I have to worry about these regulations right now for this, but these regulations are a big problem moving forward.
You know, and I go back to, it was a point you made at last week's meeting, the special meeting last week, which struck me about the need, and I don't intend to be putting words in your mouth, but the need for the developers agreement is for the benefit of clarity for the developers. And I don't know, you know, based on where we started with this process to where it's evolved to now, that's the one thing that I've heard loud and clear from all the feedback we've received is, and I think that was maybe part of the essence that Steve was alluding to with the code of regulations. We've had pieces and parts and pockets and corners all over the place, and nothing's ever been put into one spot.
You did not put words in my mouth.
Okay.
I said that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody else at the HBA or not.
Right. But that's what I heard you say, and it resonated.
I did say that.
Yeah.
But the inherent problem in all this is we had no input in any of it. Last fall, no notifications of any of it. So we object to so many things in here vehemently.
Yeah.
And that is the inherent problem. We didn't get the opportunity to be involved in any of those. I mean, I'm not sure why, and you know, Denise always does a wonderful job. I have utmost respect for Denise. And she notified me of that one developers meeting, which is the only reason everybody's involved now, or that would have gone through and been passed. And we'd have
Well,
been
but-
blindsided by
I'm
by
afraid
that.
that's not true, because that was meant, and it was always intended to be a draft discussion of that, and we know there was going to be subsequent meetings.
Well, and I also think, I
Yeah.
think the way to evaluate, the one point of deference I think I'd ask for in this, I think the way to evaluate this is going to be on what happens from this point forward. Now that we've had the sessions with everybody's input, not so much on what's happened up to this point. And it's not to say that things are going to change fundamentally, but I think to the extent there wasn't collaboration to the degree there needed to be before, that's the other thing I've heard loud and clear is we need to have that. And I also hear, from those sessions, it really concerns me the perception from the Home Builders Association is that policies that we have as a county are potentially driving small operations out of the county. And I personally am going to evaluate the success or failure of this undertaking based on, a few years down the road. If that's not the case, I'm going to feel that we got it right. And if it's the case where we've alienated those groups, I'm going to feel like we missed the ball on it. And the feedback that we've gotten so far, and whatever feedback we get to come, I think is going to tell the tale of if it's successful or not. So that's kind of, I'm trying to be more forward-looking about it. I think the points are well taken, but we want to make sure we have something that works for the county and the operations, but also something that works for the developer world too. So.
And to add to that, to your point, when I was shaking my head, I hope you see that through these meetings, that we are there sitting there understanding that we do work for you guys. We work for the business owners, the residents, and we do want your input, and we do want to document in the end that works for you, that works for Andy and Jeremy, but we are not in any way, shape, or form trying to halt development. We're trying, I hope you see now through these meetings that we want you guys, the HBA's input on all of this.
I think you're much more receptive to it, especially you and Aaron. But I don't understand completely. I understand your comments, Aaron, but I don't understand what you mean about 3 years forward. By then, it's all going to be over, or it's going to be lost.
Well, no,
we need to fix it now.
No,
if
I
you're willing
agree.
to sit down and fix it now was your first comment.
Yes, I'm not saying we're
Is
going to
that still? Is that still?
I'm not saying we're going to wait
something
3
that's
years to fix it. I'm saying in 3 or 4 years, we can look and say, well, if we implement this year, it will have been a success. If 3 or 4 years from now, we see some of these operations that are smaller operations here having success, and we have a diversity of all, it's not anti the bigger guys, it's not pro the smaller guys. We want a diverse group of builders and developers who are finding the opportunity to develop in Medina County. I think
Because
that's
to
the
your-
only way to do it.
To your point, all the townships are very diverse in the zoning and the type of development that they want. So the document
Right.
has to serve the interests of the entire community.
But I'm not going to, I'm going to measure success or failure at that point in time. I'm not saying we're going to wait until then to fix the problems. I think this process has started now. I don't think there's any, I think the resolve is to keep moving forward.
Oh, absolutely.
And, yeah,
We're doing
and
what we can.
we're working to get, advisors brought on who can help kind of bridge some of these gaps.
Unfortunately, the document you provided us wasn't communicated to Jeremy till this morning. So his team were already working on some of the various permits and so forth, understanding the issue regarding the valves and as well as the costs and all that. And so, but we need to just look at what they've already started doing with the list you gave us. So he didn't get that till this morning. So there's been a slight delay, but we're going to go ahead and try to get that additional information for you and be able to respond as to how each of those addresses, how each of those permits, how that worked out, and explain why the costs were the way they were over the last number of years. So we'll be happy to sit down with you and do that, but like I said, it's one of those communication things. You gave it to the three of us, and none of us thought about giving it to Jeremy, unfortunately, so, until this morning. So, but he's already started working on it.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
And I'm not a politician by any means. You've seen that from my speaking abilities. But I used to have a good relationship with Andy Conrad for many years. Things went fine. I've heard other people grumble about him. I even defended him years ago when they were trying to kick him out, many years ago. But as of late, the comments are that he's turned into a dictator, and that was my experience over the last 2 or 3 years. So they've become very hard to deal with. There's no gray area. You're doing it this way, and there's no answer as to why. And that's happened all the time through this process. And that is why it's taken me, one of the primary reasons it's taken me this long to get through it. And, you know, I can't sit still with this much loss of business and just let it continue. It's wiping me out, personally, and all my people in my company that depend on me. And it's, so I understand you hear the frustration in my voice, and, you know, Kim Bolus talked to you about it, Brian Gushin talked to you about it. They've seen what we've tried to do, and we're trying to do everything right and comply, but it's been made nearly impossible. And especially since Dave Pugh came in and Matt Martin went out. And it's just, my belief is, and I'm still looking into it, is that a lot of the things that they want that aren't rules yet, they've applied to me in the last 2 or 3 years. That's my belief. And again, I'm looking into see what the rules are now. We're studying the regulations of the past couple years. So,
We're going to continue to work forward. I know there's work to do there at both on the developer agreement and on the specific subdivision that you're talking about. So I think, you know, we're going to continue to try and keep moving things forward. And,
all right,
and,
that's all I have to say. I've
hearing your
said too
feedback.
much already.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Stan, anything? No? Discussion session. Stephen, do you have anything for discussion? No? Denise? No? Anything else from extension? From Mary Kate? Did you? No?
Just hello, great to be here. Mary Kate Hastings with Senator Husted's office. I'm our Northeast Ohio Regional Director. Happy to be in Medina County today, and hoping to be a contact if you ever need assistance from our office.
Great. Thanks
Very
for
good. Thanks.
Senator Husted's office for being represented here today.
Yeah.
Brandon, anything from economic development? No? Matt, do you have anything? No? Colleen?
I do not.
Steve?
Nothing?
Okay. I spent this morning with a few of the folks that are represented here today with the Ohio Farm Bureau, the Medina County Farm Bureau, I guess, for their policy meeting. So that was a good, productive discussion. Always helpful to hear some of the other issues going on in the county with other departments, and they create kind of a roundtable format, which I think is a great format for both hearing the concerns of the rural community, but also the initiatives that so many different offices in the county, you know, health department was represented there, parks department, auditor's office. So just a public thank you to the Farm Bureau for putting that together and for the invitation, and I was happy to be part of it. So with that, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
Motion, second, roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank
It was nice to see you all.